Hello everybody, Mannix here. Got a shotgun review for you right here, right now. But first, if you'd like, feel free to subscribe, hit that little bell notification if you wouldn't want to miss weekly knife and gun videos. This is going to be on one of my favorite shotguns of all time and my home defense shotgun of choice. That's right, the Kel-Tec KS7. It is a pump action bullpup shotgun. Bullpup meaning the rounds are loaded behind the trigger. If you're not familiar, the advantage to that is that you can get away with shortening the overall length of the firearm without sacrificing muzzle velocity, because the barrel technically starts back here within the stock as opposed to having to be in front of it and needing to extend past what otherwise would be the overall length of the shotgun. So despite it still meeting that 18-inch legal length, the overall length of the shotgun is considerably shorter than if it were not a bullpup style firearm. Let me just get the specs out of the way real quick. It is a 12 gauge 3-inch caliber shotgun, weighs 5.9 pounds unloaded. Its magazine capacity is 6+1 with 3-inch shells, but with 2.5-inch shells, it's 7+1. That's right, 7+1 round capacity on this guy. Overall length, 26.1 inches. The barrel length is 18.5 inches. The pull length is 13 inches. The trigger pull weight from factory is 7 pounds. And we have a fiber optic sight. Actually very beautiful, very cool looking green fiber optic sight right up there. You can see this is a rail that is attached to the shotgun. Again, this is all by default, all out of the factory. I did not mod this whatsoever. It is detachable. If you'd like, you can remove this rail up here, but it does make it very convenient to carry around. Very, very, very featherweight light shotgun. It's extremely lightweight to a fault, actually. A gun being lightweight is great and all for carry, for not weighing you down so much, but your shoulder is not going to thank that featherweight. There's a lot of recoil on this gun, not only because it is a bullpup, meaning the actual firing of the shells are literally physically closer to your shoulder if you were to properly fire this with your shoulder touching the butt pad like it should. But because the gun's so light, it's not going to be absorbing very much of that recoil. You are going to be absorbing that recoil more. I will say that right off the bat, although I love this gun, it's extremely functional, it's very affordable. I've had no issues with it. We have an extremely high capacity, it's short and compact. It's good looking, I think. Everything about this gun is absolutely top notch for its price point, but it's not a very fun gun to shoot. It's very painful, actually. It has a very, very high recoil. Again, not only because it's a bullpup, but because it is so lightweight. You can't have your cake and eat it, is my point. All polymer right here, other than, the barrel itself, obviously, and then the magazine tube. This right here is metal, but we have a lot of polymer frame going on right here. It's a mixture between steel and polymer. Cocoa, Florida, USA. Thank you very much. Again, really, really, really love the way this gun looks. It's very futuristic, if not what some would call modern looking. Looks like it's straight out of a video game. Some would call it ugly. Yeah, it's certainly not a classic looking gun. People are pretty torn on the way these things look. Personally, I think it's really sexy. I actually really am a fan of modern, futuristic, wacky, weird designs, even on what otherwise should be classic tools. And hey, even if you don't like the way it looks, the function is still there. It's extremely, extremely functional. Safety mechanism is right here. It's a side button, pretty clearly on fire right there. So if we were to load that, you can now mark it as safe, won't fire. Now it will fire. Here is our pump release, or whatever you want to call that. So otherwise, it would be locked in place, just like any other pump action would after you rack it. But you can switch that down in order to release it. It is ambidextrous, as you can see on both sides right here, just like the safety mechanism is. Very nice positive action on there. Again, love, 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 love that fiber optic sight. I'm a sucker for fiber optic sights as it is, but it works very well, very simple. Huge fan of the rail right here, just makes it very convenient to carry around. So if you do detach this rail, you are going to lose that stock fiber optic sight, unfortunately, but there's a handful of other things you could do with this gun if you were willing to mod it. I really like the checker pattern we have on both the pump as well as the handle. It's very slim. It's a very, very slim shotgun, as you can see right there. It's the KSG's younger brother. It's as if a KSG lost weight. Yeah, you're not getting as much capacity, but it's gonna be a lot lighter. It's a lot cheaper. According to Kel-Tec's official website, as far as late March 2024 is concerned, it says the MSRP on these things is $530. That kind of surprises me because I usually see these go for about $550 at most gun stores. But their official website currently is claiming the MSRP is $530. expect to pay in the mid 500s for this gun. It's definitely going to be under $600 most of the time. Very, very affordable. That's about what you would pay for a Mossberg 500 of sorts. You're just around that price range. It's not terribly expensive. Made in USA. It's ambidextrous. So our spent shells will actually release down here. So it is truly what I call an ambidextrous shotgun, because you're not going to risk having the shells, fly in your field of view if you happen to be left-handed like most shotguns will do. They extract down here where you also insert them. Let's demonstrate right now. We're going to count these too. 7 snap caps, 12 gauge, 2.5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's load 1. There we go. And back up to 7. And there we are. You see the way it extracts, just like so. And there we go. That's a very, 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 very high capacity, particularly for 2.5 inch 12 gauge shells. It really takes full advantage of this magazine tube we have right here. And again, for such a tiny length overall we have going on here, thanks to its bullpup design. That's a feat, having such a high capacity and such a small overall length, while also being very slim. It's extremely light. It's extremely compact. I've had no malfunctions. I've had no problems with this whatsoever, and that should be expected. It is a pump shotgun. It's affordable, again, just under $600. It's my home defense shotgun of choice. You just keep this loaded with whatever shells you prefer. You can keep the barrel loaded as well if you want. Just I would advise keep the safety on if you're going to do that. Obviously, your mileage may vary. Everybody has different preferences as to how they load their home defense shotguns. Personally, I like to just keep the tube loaded, keep the barrel unloaded, safety off, but there's going to be plenty of people arguing why that's a dumb idea, although there's going to be plenty of people saying why that's a great idea and anything else is dumb, etc. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to argue. That's just personally what I do. Please let me know if you do something different or if that's what you do, and let me know why. No problems with the ergonomics, like being very slim. We have a nice guard right here, as you can see on the pump, so you don't accidentally slip up, because it is pretty short right there, again, because we have a bullpup design. You're gonna get pretty close to that barrel, that muzzle right there. You gotta be careful. But we have a nice guard right here, so just keep that in mind. Keep that grip, take advantage of that checker pattern right there. Again, it's so cool looking. Straight out of a video game, straight out of Halo or something. Love it. Now, one gun that could compete with this one would be the Mossberg 590 Shockwave. It's pretty much the exact same overall length of this shotgun, but that one is not a bullpup. It's a stockless 14-inch barrel shotgun. So it's going to have considerably less muzzle velocity. You're not going to be able to aim it as well because, you don't have a stock. About the same price. I want to say the Mossberg 590 is a little bit cheaper than this, give or take $100, but you're certainly going to have less capacity with those things, 5+1 instead of this devastating 7+1. Functionally, honestly, I would just pick this over a Mossberg 590 because, again, we're getting that same overall length, but you also have a stock for extra control, for extra aiming, all that good stuff, and a good 4.5-inch longer barrel, which means more power, more muzzle velocity. And on top of that, you get the extra rounds, a very high capacity. It's a really, really amazing functional gun for the money. Very light, very compact, all that good stuff. Again, it's not exactly what I would call a plinker. You're probably going to bruise up your shoulder a little bit if you shoot this for a while because it's very lightweight and the recoil is pretty bad. But if we're talking home defense, usually it'll be over in less than what I would consider to be an entire magazine tube full of shells, so I think you'll be just fine. You're not going to kill yourself with this thing. That's it. That is the Kel-Tec KS7, one of my favorite shotguns of all time, and again, my home defense shotgun of choice. What do you think of this gun? Do you have it? Have you fired it before? Do you think this is a bad gun for home defense? What would you pick over it? Or do you agree? Do you think it's a great gun? Let me know in the comments down below. I always learn something from you guys. It's always interesting to read what you all have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, feel free to subscribe, hit that little bell notification if you do not want to miss weekly knife and gun videos. Mannix out.